I want to react to a video that a CNN reporter by the name of Jake Tapper was on national airwaves whining and complaining about three things. The first thing was CBS. The second thing was 60 Minutes. And the third thing was President Donald Trump, which comes to no surprise. Well, the reason why Jake Tapper from CNN had beef with CBS is because Trump sued CBS for $20 billion last fall for 60 Minutes, who was a subsidiary of CBS, heavily edited a Kamala Harris interview, which was so bad and so noticeable that it made Kamala Harris look short and concise in her answers, which, if you follow Kamala Harris as much as I do, you know that not to be the case. She often offers up word salads for simple questions, answering simple questions. She goes into this word salad and she's all over the map in her answer. And this 60-minute heavily edited video shows her as being sharp, witty, concise with her answers. And so that's the reason why Trump sued CBS. And CBS is the parent company of 60 Minutes. And so just to end with CBS, the lawsuit occurred last fall. CBS is now thinking about doing an out-of-court settlement with President Trump to resolve any lawsuit, any beef that they have between the two entities. And Jake Tapper's mad about that, right? Jake Tapper's also mad about 60 Minutes because they got caught heavily editing a video that some might say deceives the public on how they view Kamala Harris. Again, she offers up word salads while answering simple questions. In this video, make it seem like she was short and concise with her answer to a specific question. And 60 Minutes got caught. And the reason why Jake Tapper has beef with Donald Trump, President Trump, is because if Trump is successful in getting an out-of-court settlement with CBS, this will be the second time that he's won against fake news media, right? The previous one was with ABC, where George Stephanopoulos, a reporter from ABC, misstated the results of the E. Jean Carroll case in New York. On national airwaves, George Stephanopoulos said that Trump was convicted of rape, and that was a false statement, and that led to the defamation lawsuit that President Trump, or he was a presidential nominee from the Republican Party at the time when he filed a lawsuit against ABC. ABC did an out-of-court settlement for $15 million for defaming President Trump's name at the time. And so Jake Tapper is viewing this CBS situation as another consecutive win for Trump against the fake news media. And my thing is if mainstream media does not want to get sued, then they got to stop lying on people. If you don't want to get in trouble, then don't cause trouble. It's almost like Jake Tapper is saying that Trump is attacking free speech. But if you're lying, I guess lying can be free speech. Like if someone calls out fire in a crowded movie theater, and there's no fire, but people are running and they're stampeding each other, and people get severely injured, or death occurs, that person who called out fire will get criminally charged with murder or homicide, or however which way they want to categorize it, that guy or girl is going down, right? So free speech is free speech to a point. But I don't think this is a case about free speech. Jake Tapper's mad because Trump is winning, and 60 Minutes got caught doing something that they weren't supposed to do. And then CBS, he's mad at CBS because they're thinking about doing an out-of-court settlement of the $20 billion lawsuit that Trump filed last fall. Let's get into the video.
The executive producer of CBS News 60 Minutes, Bill Owens, resigned today. Now, normally that would probably not be news that we would bring you, except the circumstances rise to the level of, well, alarm. Owens said in a letter to his staff that, quote, over the past months, it has become clear that I would not be allowed to run the show as I have always run it, to make independent decisions based on what was right for 60 Minutes, right for the audience, unquote. And the context here is key, because President Trump has been suing CBS News and its parent company, Paramount Global, for $20 billion for what the president calls, quote, unlawful and illegal behavior, unquote, though his accusations, according to legal experts, do not withstand scrutiny. This is what happened. Last fall, 60 Minutes interviewed Vice President Harris. President Trump declined the show's offer to sit down with them for an interview. During the Harris interview, 60 Minutes correspondent Bill Whitaker asked the then sitting vice president why Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was not apparently listening to the Biden administration. Now, a preview of her answer ran in a preview clip on CBS's Face the Nation on Sunday morning.
The work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
The next day, however, 60 Minutes ran this answer when it ran the actual edited interview.
We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Now, CBS News explained the discrepancy, saying that they merely ran two different parts from the same longer answer, and under pressure they revealed their transcript, and that is indeed what they did, as frankly happens all the time, including with President Trump's taped interviews. For instance, just for instance, in June of 2024, this ran on Fox.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Definitive, firm, yes, I would. But, as Semaphore noted at the time, the full unedited version featured Trump sounding far less definitive.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
The president alleges that editing the 60 Minutes interview and running two different answers to the same question helped Vice President Harris and amounted to electoral fraud. In reality, this is just editorial discretion. Editors do it all the time with recorded interviews, including all the time with taped interviews and Donald Trump by Fox. All the time. And legal experts, left, right, and center, say that this lawsuit in a court would certainly fail spectacularly. But Paramount Global, which owns CBS News, is currently trying to merge with Skydance Media. And in order to do so, they need the approval of the Trump administration, specifically the FCC. And under the FCC's brand new Trump-supporting commissioner, Brendan Carr, it has been suggested that Trump's news distortion allegations against 60 Minutes will be considered by the FCC before any merger is approved. Now, Sherry Redstone is the majority owner of Paramount, and she stands to make a fortune if this multi-billion-dollar deal, this merger, goes through. And it seems as if Sherry Redstone is likely to bend the knee to Trump and settle this allegedly frivolous lawsuit. Now, Bill Owens, until today the head of 60 Minutes, rightly believes that 60 Minutes has nothing to apologize for. And that's what's going on. That's the context.
There's at least a few points that I'd like to make before we get to the 60-minute Kamala Harris interview between the edited and unedited version, side-by-side comparison. Number one, Jake Tapper seemed like he was a little upset that Sherry Redstone was set to make a fortune, who she is the majority owner of CBS, and when CBS, if that ever occurs, merges with Skydance, a much larger media network, she's set to make a fortune, right? So that's number one. Number two, the video that Jake Tapper showed on Trump's interview that occurred June 2024 with Fox News, I think Ms. Campos Duffy was the one asking the question. Asked Trump a question, and then he gave his answer in the preview. It was a start-stop type of deal in the preview. But during the airing, it aired Ms. Campos's question, which was the original question. There was nothing edited about the question. And then President Trump gave his full answer, which included the preview answer in the preview. Nothing was cut out. But what we're about to see is between the edited and unedited 60 minutes versions, you'll see that there were 2/3 of the 60-minute question that was omitted from the finalized aired version, the edited version. You'll also see that there is a 2/3 omission of Kamala Harris's answer to the question. But then the Federal Communications Commission aired the entire interview, and that's how you're going to see how part of the question was blocked out, omitted, and then part of Kamala Harris's answer to the question was also omitted. It's not the same thing, okay? That was a blatant editorial decision to make it seem like Kamala Harris was sharp, concise when answering the question. Let's take a look.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
What you just saw there was the 60-minute edited version. Now here comes the unedited version released by the FCC. Let's take a look.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening. The Wall Street Journal said that that your administration has repeatedly been blindsided by Netanyahu. And in fact, he has rebuffed just about all of your administration's entreaties.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. And we're not going to stop doing that. We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
So, as you saw for yourself, those were two different, starkly different versions of the truth. And again, I go back to Jake Tapper and say that he let his emotions get the best of him. He should not be on national airwaves crying to the American public about what he disagrees with. It was a misstatement of the truth when he came out with his dialogue. This wasn't a stop-start occurrence like the Trump interview had as an example that he pulled on national television. This was an omission of 2/3 of the question, an omission of 2/3 of Kamala Harris's answer, and they tried to pass it off as being authentic. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.